Ho ho ho! A lot of close games in the DGFL this week. Starting off at game number one, the Mafiosos de Veggie versus the Swines. We still have a Monday night performer active in Brees Hall. We'll see if he can get the much needed 2 points to push the Mafiosos to victory. If we switch over to the matchbook, we'll see that the primary better was over 215. Still waiting to see about that game total, about split veggies versus swines. The veggies will cover. And the two key performers from this match are going to be on the same team. Christian McCaffrey, 22 for 152 and a touchdown. Incredible as always. And surprisingly, Brandon Ayuk, 8 receptions, 8 targets, 129 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Huge day from the 49ers in the Mafiosos versus Swines matchup. Next, we're going to take a peek at the Duckies versus Pillas. Duckies 7.5-point favorites. Look at this line. Wow, let's see if the bettors hammering the Pillas are going to walk away unscathed. And it looks like the lines knew more than the bettors did. Duckies cover in resounding fashion. Still have a performer out tonight, Stephon Diggs. And if we look at the game contributors, nobody from the Pillas. However, we're going to look at the player of the game. Justin Jefferson was the lead performer and massive impetus, scoring about 1/3 of the Pillas' total points. And if we look at the Duckies, we're still waiting on Diggs. But the performer so far is going to have to be Nick Chubb. 18 carries, 106 yards. Awesome as always. Duckies cover. Let's look at the next one. Next matchup, we got Bruisers versus Frogs. 45.5 spread. Sure, the Frogs covered that. Ooh, you might be mistaken. We might have a historically bad night. But it's looking pretty split here. A lot of people had the Frogs covering. Mix on the over versus under. Let's take a look at Sleeper and see what happened on this Monday morning. And if we look at the match total, Bruisers should cover in resounding fashion. However, Frogs have a performer tonight, Allen Lazard. So unless he goes for 70 points, I believe the Bruisers are in the clear. If we look at our best game contributors, on the Frogs side, nobody of note. Evan Ingram, their highest scorer, 5 receptions, 49 yards. And for the Bruisers, you already know who it is, Tyreek Hill, 215 yards and 2 touchdowns. Holy smokes, that man is amazing. So we'll look to track this to see if Allen Lazard can save the Frogs' night. Moving over to the Bubbles game, one of the heavy favorites this week, 39.5 spread against the Cheese Balls. Pretty split in terms of better spread. However, the over-under, mostly the over. Let's see if the Dirty Bubbles were able to silence the haters this week, bring back Calvin Ridley into the fold, and see if they can win some games. Oh, of course, the Dirty Bubbles crushed the Cheese Balls. What you wouldn't expect is that the Balls covered. 33-point difference, not 39. Good for the Balls to cover. Key performer for them, Tua Tagovailoa. What a pickup this offseason. 30 points. QB1 on the week, I think, so far. If we look at the Bubbles, a lot of great performances. 21, 22, 20 from Deshaun Watson. I think their best player's got to be Calvin Ridley, though. What a massive impact he's brought to the squad. 22 points, 100 yards receiving, 1 touchdown. Whew! Bubbles are going to be hot this year. Uh-oh. Can the Agave beat a Big One winner? Struggling in the past against top competitors in the regular season, can the Agave cover against the Peacocks as 11.5-point favorites? Agave struggling with injuries. Let's see what happened this past weekend. Whoo-wee, this is coming down to the wire. Josh Allen and James Cook remain for the Peacocks. Dalton Kincaid for the Mark Andrews-less Agave. Can the Peacocks pull it out and win outright? They already covered Well, they should already cover. Knock on wood, I might have jinxed it. Sorry, Peacocks. But Agaves, they need a big-time performance from Garrett Wilson and Dalton Kincaid tonight. I forgot to mention Garrett Wilson earlier. He might be their player of the week. Austin Eckler already came off strong with 26 points. Jeez, that man is good. The Peacocks, on the other hand, have a lot of nice, solid scorers. Amon-Ra, St. Brown, all good as always. Mike Evans. Aaron Jones, monster week. Look at that receiving line. Is he a receiver now or is he a running back? We'll look to track the Peacocks versus Agave as they roll into Monday night. This is going to be the matchup of the night. We'll see how this folds out. Oh man, lastly, we got the Dirty Slam Game of the Week, Wolves versus Bods. This has a lot of implications on whether or not the Bods are going to rebuild. Wolves just trying to win some games, man. Get some winning back in the building. They have been losers for a long time. Wolves, 4.5-point favorites. Over-under sit at 175. Look at this. Lot of differing opinions. We'll see how this ended up turning out in a minute. And if you've made it this far into the DGFL Week 1 recap, just know that the house always knows more than you. This is, in fact, going to be the game of the week. Look at this projected spread here. 43% towards the Bods, 57% towards the Weenie Wolves. Can the Bods make up that difference and reach 67.51? I guess we'll have to wait and see for the Bods performer Dalvin Cook, newly acquired New York Jet. Let's see who is the best player on the Bods. And it's not looking pretty. DeAndre Hopkins, great for them in the flex role. Could have caught a touchdown to make it even better. I mean, look at this. Mac Jones on the bench, 24.14. Bod's got to start him moving forward, am I right? For the Wolves, we got 11.2 for Cortland Sutton. Surprise. He was pretty good. Not many would think that. But, of course, the name we're always going to come back to week after week for the Wolves is Chris Olave. Picked number 7 in the 2022 DGFL draft. And he has been phenomenal for the Wolves. As always, stay in tune for the Monday night game. Jets versus Bills, going to be a big one. Going to have a lot of implications on winners and losers in this week 1 of the DGFL. A lot of implication on the spreads and lines. But if you wanted a recap on the biggest miss for the bettors, had to be the Pillas. Massive, massive disappointment week 1. Keep the Dirty Slam in mind as you get revved up and ready for week 2. Going to be great for betting throughout this season. So please stay active, stay involved. This is going to be a fun season. Try and win that $15, huh? Alrighty. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.